Bienvenidos to the last episode of
Merendiando
Season 2. Today we have 4 guests from Aluna's upcoming production of The Solitudes.
We sat down with 4 members of the ensemble, Rosalba Martinni, Lara Arabian, Liliana Suarez, and Janis Mayers.
We talk about the process of co-creating the show, working with this group of female theater makers,
and about this unique creation process that takes inspiration from personal experience and found text.
This episode is in Spanglish, as some of our guests only spoke Spanish during the interview and others only spoke English. So, enjoy it. And because it was our last episode, we prepared some tostadas for our guests. They were super yummy.
A little home cooking, you know?
Yeah, well, tostadas,
Yeah.
but it was made with a lot of love.
It was. Because this is the last episode of the season, we just want to say thank you so much for listening and being a part of this season of Merendiando. I feel like this season we've really taken the podcast to another level, and it's all thanks to your engagement, your feedback, and to you listening. So all you people out there, thank you so much. We're really excited that we got to spend another season sharing all these local stories with you. For more information about what's coming up next, keep an eye out on Aluna's social media pages. And we have to say a very special shout out to the team at Aluna Theater who are so supportive, so wonderful, and make great art online and, of course, in person in the theater.
Muchas gracias por escuchar, and now sit back and have a listen. We have today the amazing ladies of Solitudes. I love all of you. Thank you for being here. You're all amazing. We've seen you around the city performing in different places. Most of you we know from other shows, so it's an honor for us to offer you some tostadas and to have some time to chat with you. So to start, can we just have each of you say your name and what is something that it has inspired you a lot in this creative process?
All right, I'll start. So I'm Lara Arabian. Something that has inspired me is all the conversations, getting to know these women over the last, because it's been an almost 2-year process. By the time we open, it's going to be 2 years since we started the piece.
Wow.
So it's unlike any process that I've ever been a part of, and to be able to have the time to get to know these women, not only as on a professional level, but more on a personal level, and it's been very, very, very special.
I'm Rosalba Martinni, and I do have to say the honesty. It has inspired, first of all, me to say things that I would normally not reveal, except to very close friends, things that have happened to me that I've said only to people that I've been intimately connected to. I decided I'm gonna let it all out and leave it out to posterity. There's no reason why we should keep certain things secret. Especially the things that have happened to us. It's just let them out. Someone out there, where not everything is going to end up in the show, of course. A lot of things, just today we caught a huge scene that was quite powerful. But whatever ends up there that might have felt really personal 2 years ago might end up helping. If it helps one person in that audience, someone who relates, someone who says, oh my God, that happened to me too. It's a universal problem. It's not just mine. And so just that in itself makes it all rewarding. And the women, we are so diverse. We are so different. And we have a lot of laughs, sometimes too much. We disagree on a lot of things, but it's always to help the process, to help each other, to clarify things. We ask a lot of questions. Some things make you very, very vulnerable. And so you shed those tears and you release that. And you just let it out there. Let it be known.
Beautiful.
Liliana.
Bueno, Liliana, y para mí el proceso ha sido como montarme todos los días en una montaña rusa. Cada día es diferente, cada día tiene unos subes y bajas, gritamos, nos reímos, lloramos, pensamos mucho, reclamamos, ¿por qué estás diciendo esto? qué es lo que quiere, qué es lo que significa. También a mí personalmente me ha llevado muchas cosas que tengo en el cuerpo, que tengo en mi memoria y otras que no tenía. Entonces es una montaña rusa que en la vida real no me montaría en una montaña rusa, pero en el teatro sí. Ha sido hermosísimo. Yo creo que esto no se repite, y si se repite, me voy con un casco, con chalecos, con un montón de cosas, pero ha sido único.
Cool.
Hermoso.
Very cool.
Hello, my name is Janis, and what's inspired me? Learning, just as a person, not really as an artist, but as an individual, to listen to people and be more understanding, because you take time to actually listen to people, not just hear it, acknowledge it, and toss it off, but just sit with it. And how to be brave. Like these ladies were just saying, you have to be brave enough to know that it's not going to hurt if you are yourself, or you share a truth, or you share an opinion that you have based on your own personal experience that might not be a popular opinion at all, but it's your life, or it's how you view something. And being okay with, like, maybe there will be an argument, but it will be in a it'll be handled with respect, because you can disagree. This is what's wonderful, actually, being able to disagree without losing the respect and staying at the table. That's important.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did this group come together? Like, we've heard that it was a really interesting casting process. I know it was 2 years ago, so that is a long time away. But how did this group of diverse women, as people have been saying, come together?
And also, I think, how did you see that casting? What drew you to be like, I need to be part of this? I think, ¿qué es lo que te inspiró a hacer el casting y cómo fue el proceso de casting?
100 Years of Solitude had been on my list of to-read books for decades, and I never got around to it. And so this came along, and I thought, well, that's kind of like an indication to go for it. As far as the presentation itself was quite demanding. We were asked to, given all the female characters, and we had to write a monologue based on that character. And we had to come up with names of women we admire from the last 150 years. Choose at least one and talk about her life, why we admire her. So, for instance, I chose Susan B. Anthony because she got the vote for women in the U.S., and so I presented her entire life story, plus the woman who helped her throughout life, Elizabeth Cady, and what else were we asked to do?
The 5 images of solitude.
5 images of
Non-verbal,
solitude,
yeah.
Non-verbal, yes, just images of what solitude is to us. What else?
That was a lot, because the monologue or the presentation could be, it was, up to 5 minutes, so it was, we were expected to come in with something.
And I'd worked with Aluna before, so I've known Bea for 20 years. I first met her on TV, television, and then we kept running into each other. And back then, 20 years ago, she said, I'd like to start a theater about Latin American works. And I said, good luck.
And now you're here.
And so it's always good to go back to a company, to work with a company where you've had a good experience and the end result is good. It's something that you can appreciate. And I think this will be a fascinating presentation. At this point, we don't know, because we still don't quite have a finalized script. We're still struggling all over the place, but I trust that it will be good.
Yeah.
So for the piece itself, you all needed to read the book, the Cien años de soledad?
Yes.
Yes.
We spent the first chunk of the workshop almost 2 years ago, really going through the book and talking about and concentrating on the female characters. Who were these women? What were their stories? What were our stories within those stories as well? And really looking at the themes, the images, the sounds that Marquez was talking about. Yeah, we went in depth, and we were, it's a very, when you read the book, it's really incredible if you pay attention to the smells. It's a very
Very
sensual.
Yeah.
It's a very, very sensual book.
It's a remarkable work. And we were assigned chapters, 3 chapters each. Today, tomorrow you read these chapters. You read chapter 1, and then you give us the highlight of that and what you make of that. Chapter 2, chapter 3.
Sure.
The first month was all about going through the book, and then the women, and we all had to improvise, every female in that, every character. And so that's how I got to see who you're more like this character, and you're more like that character, and that took a while, about a year.
Yeah. We generated a lot of work.
We did.
Oh my gosh, like it was constantly.
If only the whole thing were published as a book.
Oh my gosh.
La cosa es que no estamos haciendo 100 años de soledad. Empezamos con las mujeres, algunas mujeres de 100 años de soledad, como preguntándonos qué es la soledad.
So you started with the inspiration, with the foundation of this book and the characters in it, but it seems like you've gone somewhere else. So
Yeah, absolutely.
where
Creative process.
Yo
Yeah,
creo
which is great.
que la idea también viene de la Bea. Además, son personajes universales, pero muy particulares también en Colombia.
I'm like really curious about what you've learned about solitude. Like, what did you discover about solitude throughout that work?
Nothing I didn't know before. A lot of moments of solitude, just how to express it.
Yes.
That's
I would
been
agree.
primarily how to express the solitude. I would say, as far as how would the project, as be described, as you say, it has become something else. It's no longer the women of that. I was asked just recently by a director in town. So tell me about the project. I can't wait to see it. I read 100 Years of Solitude in university, but tell me. And I thought, well, what am I going to say? And I said, well, we took the women from 100 Years of Solitude and brought them into today's world, turned them into archetypes, and put ourselves into the archetype. Who are we? Is that archetype? She said, so it's a completely new work. It's not 100 Years of Solitude anymore.
Yeah.
And I said, unless you read the book again just before you see the show, then you'll recognize things from the book. Otherwise, yes, it is. Because after all, time has passed, and we are telling stories that are true. One of the great scenes that was cut today is because it wasn't all true. There was fiction in it. And so it's like, no, we cannot have fiction. It's like, it's as Liliana said, and when the first day I met her, she said, well, this is not... it's not magical realism, it's realism. And then Bea read Marquez's Nobel acceptance speech, and he says the same thing. It's not magical realism, it's realism. He just tells it in such profoundly creative metaphors. But what happens in that book is really the history of Latin America. And
It's very real.
that's why we have to be real. We have to stay real. We can't make up stuff. It's got to be us.
Yeah, I don't think Bea was ever interested in a straight adaptation of the piece
No.
at all to start with, and that was very clear from the beginning. But the way that it's kind of grown with, like you said, ourselves inserting ourselves into the archetypes—that's a beautiful way of putting. I'm going to steal that because I'm trying to figure out how to describe the piece.
That's how I've been
gonna
describing
steal
it.
it.
And everybody says, "Oh, so it's a brand new piece."
Lo otro es que nos fuimos
It's inspired by. It's a starting off.
Inspired. I'm inspired.
Yo me
yes.
fui enamorando como de los personajes y de ahí del libro, cuando de pronto es que no son esos los personajes que vamos a trabajar. No, son ustedes. Pero es un proceso como mágico, no nos dimos ni cuenta.
Because I'm so curious about how you have developed this for 2 years.
It's not like you were rehearsing the whole time.
No.
And it keeps
No, we
changing,
were-
right?
we were-
Not the way Toronto works.
Yeah,
States.
no, we were.
No.
A lot of it was generating the work.
So the first year was primarily all improvs, all of which was recorded, and Bea had to watch it like many hours of recording, and she chose which of those scenes were of interest. And this year we met only a few times.
About a week each time,
A
I would
week.
say. January and February, then we had a bit of a break, and now it's
Yeah.
been almost every month since
Just 1 week every
July.
month.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
we
a
meet
lot,
for a
really.
week,
One
and then
thing
intense.
about the first year, I just remember this because of how I came into this. There was more workshops and viewpoints workshops,
Yes.
training with voice
Yeah,
coaches,
there were different
and
teachers
training
that
with
she brought
personal
in.
trainers.
Yeah.
So the group got a chance
You
to
killed
train
us.
together.
And you
Yeah.
kid.
Did you work as a trainer?
she was
I-
the
I-
trainer. She
I
was
did
originally
I did four boot campy workshops with the ensemble,
Por eso
and
es
then
que
I read
tú-
the book, and now I'm here.
I think you said you gained respect for actors.
Yes,
through
because
the
before I
process.
called them talking heads,
Yeah, I
I went
know.
to Seneca. I studied how to be a producer and a director, and the person behind the camera, but the writer, the power, the god. And I called actors talking heads, and I thought the job was easy because they just regurgitate script. And now I have a completely different opinion because I have so much respect for actors being able to be emotive and be honest and real and be brave.
So now I'm wondering, what would you say the show is about? In the description that we read online, there was like really interesting statements like, is home a house? Is home a homeland? So is that what the show is about?
it is very much about who we are now in this city, on this land. Like, what does that mean? I think that's very much a part of it.
Responsibilities as an actor.
Mhm.
I don't know.
As people,
As people.
responsibilities,
Oh,
as
yeah.
people, as women.
What is the
Modern.
world that we envision, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, just having the parallel, like we created Macondo. This Toronto can be Macondo. It's a place where birds sing and people gather, and we try to figure out how to live with each other without destroying each other, ourselves, or our environment with our different opinions and all this other stuff.
Yeah, so much that happens in Macondo could be, parallel on many levels to what happens here and now.
Could you share what Macondo is? with us?
Yes.
Macondo. Macondo is here.
Yeah, I figured it out because of yes.
Macondo is the place in 100 Years of Solitude where it's a community.
It's the town that's
It's
founded.
the town that's founded by people who came from elsewhere. It's like, Toronto, people have come from all over the place. Canada, my God, the whole world is here. Macondo has this community that doesn't tell us exactly where they came from. They just came from other places and created this community, and the men are a certain way.
But I don't think we've ever also been interested in presenting this idea of like women are inherently better,
Angels.
smarter, pure, kinder,
no.
anything like that.
Not at
That
all.
hasn't.
That's boring,
No,
right?
not
Oh,
with this crew especially.
No, actually, there's more. If any, Marquez has more to say about that than we do. We are being very kind when it comes to, let's not bash men. We don't do that at all.
No, we're not interested in
not
that.
Marquez does that, but just describing the personalities of the men and the personalities of the women. The women really are stronger, and they have more distinct personalities. And there's rivalry and there's darkness, but there's also creativity. They know how to keep their families together, how to keep the community together.
Is play only in English or there are many languages?
Ay, papi.
Many
Yes,
of
I
it.
know que
there's-
contigo hay
It's
español.
peppered in.
Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish.
En mi caso, soy la que hablo en español. A veces hay otros lenguajes que entran, pero más que todo es inglés, ¿cierto?
Yeah. I speak Armenian every once in a while.
Sí, que es divino. Pero lo bonito de todo esto es que en algunos ejercicios la mayoría de las mujeres están hablando español también. Sacaron con pico, empezaron a decir algunas palabras en español. Yo las empecé a escuchar casi todas y yo decía, qué belleza. En 2 años aprendieron palabras en español y las trajeron al escenario. Y se escuchaba divino. Para mí fue como si me levantaran así y me dijeran, te hemos estado escuchando estos 2 años aunque hables inglés, te hemos escuchado. Y esas palabras se han quedado con nosotros. Es hermosísimo. Y bueno, y cuando hablo inglés yo me río mucho. Yo creo que todo el mundo se va a reír. Pero afortunadamente las tengo a todas ellas a mi lado.
Yeah.
Ninguno se va a reír de tu inglés.
Yeah.
¿Y
Nada
qué
más
le
de
hace?
que-
Y si se ríe. Pero ha sido muy, muy, muy lindo cómo ya están entendiendo cómo hablo yo inglés. Porque al principio ¿se acuerdan de cuando eran los primeros 2 años? ¿Qué dijo Liliana? Pero yo estaba hablando seriamente en inglés. Okay, this is my thinking, blah, 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 blah. And I say, what Liliana is saying? Something like that. And now I'm speaking in the same way, a little more better. And they understand. They complete that.
See,
This is
you
a
get an
beautiful-
English class out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, English for free. Okay. No, it's beautiful. It's something that I feel. Algo que yo sentí y siento.
I'm super intrigued to watch it now. Super intrigued. Because you have told us like little things, but I'm like, but what? It's the show. Like,
Sounds like an ecology that's going to be alive and that's living.
and
that
it
is
sounds
just
like
gonna be
really
alive.
personal, and that's
Yes.
beautiful.
Extremely
Well,
personal.
extremely personal.
Extremely personal.
Yes.
I do want to stress it's not at all therapy or anything like that. Like I don't, and it's not sad or dour or down or anything like that. I think our intention with being as personal as possible, and I think almost like the ruthlessness of Bea with it, of always pushing us more and more, is that the more personal that you are on stage, the more universal the story becomes. And I think that's what I think that's the goal that we're working towards, is that if you make it about you and you make it about as fully about you as possible, then that's going to tell the most universal story that people will be able to relate to. But it's funny, it's surprising, it's to us still surprising. I find like, oh wow, it's challenging. I think in the best possible way.
Very challenging.
Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
what I love about it, though, it's an all-female cast, but I don't feel that it's like a feminist thing, which is
No,
great.
it's not a manifesto. It's not a statement. It's not a
nothing like that,
lecture.
but,
Nothing.
It is about, like, as just speaking as a indigenous person, this is like my space. This is the land we stand on, and it doesn't belong to me. I take care of it, but this is my home, and everybody comes here for various reasons, and everyone needs to be free and have a space, and we all have bloodlines going back home, but we all came here for a reason. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. Like, the whole piece to me feels like a really cool land acknowledgement on its own, without standing in front of the audience at the beginning saying, we'd like to take a minute, and then it's just this monotonous thing with no feeling, because I feel that the land acknowledgement in general has lost its real meaning. Because, like, even, I don't know if you've noticed this when you go to theater and there's a land acknowledgement and you look at the audience, half the people are like still on their phones. That's horrible. So I'm hoping, I'm not saying come to the show because it's a big land acknowledgement, but it's woven in beautifully, and you should come to the show if you want to see something that has never been done before. If you want to be moved, if you want to laugh, if you want to see real theater from an honest place, come to this show.
Also, I just have to say the designers that we are working
Fantastic.
with
Oh, yes.
are beyond. So it is such a treat to be able to experience their vision with it. Oh, it's amazing.
I'm looking forward to what something that just came to mind right now is there are supposed to be 8 main stories in the world, and it's occurring to me there are 8 women. And every story is, comes from one of those main 8 stories. And of course, we don't have anything horrible like, one of the main stories would be murder, etc. None of us have done that, or
Can't write about things I haven't experienced.
because we're so distinct, 8 very distinct women, all the stories are so very different.
No, yo creo que hemos trabajado, yo creo que hemos trabajado duro, honestamente. Hemos respetado mucho el teatro como es, como actrices que somos y como artistas que somos. Ahí está, o sea, que si quieren ir a mirar como eso, muy rico, pero sí, muy rico que nos vean, pero también yo creo que ha valido mucho la pena todo este trabajo para crear formas nuevas. Yo no sé si con este trabajo lo hagamos, pero es un inicio, pero sí, formas, porque a veces las formas siguen siendo las formas que nos han traído, entonces vamos a ver qué pasa.
Interesting.
One final word, I'd like to say that where we could really connect, or in my mind anyways, to 100 Years of Solitude is that, as Marquez said, it's not magical realism, it's realism. This actually happened. Everything in this story is told in metaphors, but it's all true. And what we're saying is all true. There's truth in everything we're saying. We're not acting. We're not, this is a fictional script. We don't have fictional scripts. We're telling stories from our hearts and our souls, and they relate to solitude. And if I say more than that, then I'll be revealing things I should not say.
I think that's a great way to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, all of
Thank you.
Radio Luna Teatro is produced by Aluna Theatre, with support from the Metcalf Foundation, the Laidlaw Foundation, the City of Toronto, the Canada's Council for the Arts, the Ontario Arts Council, and the Toronto Arts Council.
Aluna Theatre is Beatriz Pisano and Trevor Schwellness, with Sue Ballant and Gia Naumanns. Radio Aluna Theatre is produced by Camila Diaz Varela and Mónica Garrido.
For more about Aluna Theatre, visit us at alunatheatre.ca. Follow at Aluna Theatre on Twitter or Instagram, or like us on Facebook.
Follow and subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and wherever you get your podcasts.